This report brought to you by the Richmond Club, where investors and high-growth companies meet.
Our next speaker is the CEO for XORTX Therapeutics. Please welcome Dr. Alan Davidoff.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the folks at the Richmond Club for giving us the invitation to present today. XORTX Therapeutics is a company focused on developing kidney therapeutics in the orphan drug space of polycystic kidney disease, which represents about 5% of all individuals with progressing kidney disease, and in type 2 diabetic nephropathy, which represents a very large market of about 45% of all individuals with disease. We think we have an excellent opportunity in the next few years to redefine how kidney disease is treated going forward, mostly because there are few therapeutic options available other than blood pressure lowering drugs right now. We think we have the leading edge opportunity in both polycystic kidney disease and type 2 diabetic nephropathy. So the company really is focused on clinical stage assets. These assets are both focused on lowering uric acid, which we know is deleterious to health in prediabetes, diabetes, and very specifically in progressive kidney disease. We see these as significant global market opportunities. And those two products have individual uses. Our XORX 008 product, we're focusing on the orphan drug disease space in autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease, and our XORX 221 product, we're focusing on type 2 diabetic nephropathy. In March, we signed a co-development deal with Teijin Pharma, a large Japanese pharma company, to bring in a phase 2 ready, highly potent uric acid lowering drug specifically tailored and suited for type 2 diabetic nephropathy. We also have the polycystic kidney disease program poised to start a phase 3 pivotal trial that will lead us to marketing approval sometime in the next 10 to 12 months. In addition to our strong patent portfolio, we also have an experienced senior drug development team that has experience with drugs that are currently marketed across Europe and soon to be across the United States. So the idea that uric acid is a bad actor within the context of diabetes and within the context of progressive kidney disease really is founded on good animal evidence and recently human evidence that suggests that uric acid injures blood vessels, especially the fine blood vessels, and more specific to the kidney, causes inflammation and fibrosis, leakage of the kidney, so leakage of protein from your blood into your urine, and a decline in filtering capacity. We've also been the benefactor as a company with a number of clinical studies that fit under our patent umbrella, showing that if you lower uric acid in patients with prediabetes or diabetic nephropathy, you can modulate, so slow the decline of kidney disease. So excellent evidence in our patent portfolio that we can make substantial progress in favor of patients' health. The reason why you would want to intervene in that progression is it's a slow process that accelerates over time. And although dialysis helps patients with end-stage renal disease, the stark reality is that for you and I, if we were to enter into dialysis today, our chance of surviving more than 2 years would be about 50% or less. So we have a way, a method, a therapy that slows the progression of disease. We're testing it now in clinical trials, and we hope to have, at least for our polycystic kidney disease program, a therapy ready for marketing in 2024. We have a strong patent portfolio that has use patents, composition patents, and formulation patents that are either in the application stage or are already granted, and we continue to grow those patents based on knowledge that we garner with our development activities. It's important to note also that for the polycystic kidney disease program, we're working in a rare disease space. That's an environment that was created by a number of governments around the world to protect the development of drugs that are rare This, when granted for the polycystic kidney disease program, would allow exclusivity of up to 7 years and premium pricing. So there's a lucrative opportunity for that program, despite the fact that it represents a small number of patients. Now, anybody that's had a gout attack knows there are a number of agents out there to lower uric acid specifically for gout. We think we have the 2 leading candidates for this purpose, primarily because a number of those drugs, either the classes of the drugs or the specific drugs like allopurinol and febuxostat, don't do a good enough job in this scenario. So our 2 programs we think are ideally suited, XORX 008 for polycystic kidney disease, and XORX 221, a highly potent drug that we think is a next generation drug for type 2 diabetic nephropathy. So our 2 programs in synopsis are an orphan opportunity that's ready for a phase 3 clinical trial starting within 10 months. That represents a market size of about 150 individuals in the US, about 1.5 million worldwide. Very few therapies available. Our very short steps going forward are a registration study initiation next year. We should have a phase 3 readout by 2022, and we anticipate marketing approval by 2023 or early 2024. Our financial modeling suggests an estimated peak sales year 4 through 7 of about $1.8 billion per year in the US alone, and worldwide about $4 billion per year. With regard to the type 2 diabetic nephropathy program and the XRX 221 drug, that is an enormous market with an excellent next generation proprietary molecule. While there's 10 million individuals in the US today and 100 million worldwide, that number is projected over the next 12 years to almost double. So there is a growing need with very few therapeutic options, so an excellent opportunity. We're estimating announcement of phase 2A top-line results the first week in August of this year, so coming up very shortly in about 5 weeks. And we look to phase 2 trial development starting in 2020 with this molecule, with top-line results in the phase 3s around 2025 and marketing approval around 2027. Again, another large market and lucrative opportunity. So the polycystic kidney disease program, I've touched on a lot of the details. This is a proprietary formulation of oxypurinol that increases the oral bioavailability of the drug. That gives us a highly tolerable drug, a well-tolerated drug that's safe and effective and has been shown already in clinical trials to be that. We're looking to develop that under a phase 3 protocol beginning in the next 10 months. We also anticipate a de-risking step with the FDA, and those are special protocol assessment negotiations. And that sets us up very nicely for an early opportunity at marketing approval in 2023, as I'd mentioned. We also have had outreach by a number of specialty pharma companies across the globe who are looking for conversations regarding licensing this product, and so we think that there's an excellent opportunity for non-dilutive licensing revenues to start flowing in as we approach the start date of that phase 3 clinical trial. Our development timeline is aggressive and robust. We look to manufacture a fresh supply of drugs to do that pivotal trial in the near term. We have regulatory filings, a small bioavailability study that is about a month and a half in duration. That sets us up nicely for the negotiation of the phase 3 protocol approval and the start of that trial, which is a 30-month trial. Our discussions in the fall of last year with the FDA indicated that under the SPA, which is a form of pre-approval, we would then be ideally suited for top-line results at the midterm of 2022, and that should set us up nicely for an accelerated review with potential marketing approval in late 2023 or early 2024. With respect to the diabetic nephropathy program, this large market we think is best served by XRX 221. This is a next generation, highly potent, lowly metabolized drug. So it kind of has that ideal set of characteristics that we can use not only to strongly drive down uric acid levels but maintain them there. And that's particularly important for type 2 diabetic nephropathy patients, because what we do know from a number of epidemiologic studies is that if you have this combination of diabetes and uric acid even in the middle or middle upper range, the profile for your kidneys' health becomes very poor. And so there's an indication that a potent drug, a new generation of drug that can drive that uric acid down and hold it there, is the single best optimized approach to stop progression of kidney disease. This should be first in class and certainly best in class when it's ready for marketing. So the development program right now, Teijin has an open US IND for this molecule, which we're the benefactor under a co-development agreement. That should be announced in August of this year. That will give us a clear indication of the uric acid lowering potential in type 2 diabetic nephropathy patients who have renal insufficiency because of their disease. It will also give us an indication of how much we can inhibit the leakiness of kidneys. That's an early sign in progression of kidney disease and a first step in moving forward into the phase 2 proof of concept trial that we have planned beginning in 2020. That trial will specifically look at the FDA approvable endpoint, which is glomerular filtration rate. There are already published clinical trials that suggest that this works. So in one regard, we feel that we're no longer pioneering, but just reproducing the good evidence that sits underneath our patent umbrella. There are a number of other studies that fit underneath that timeline of approximately 32 months for the phase 2B proof of concept trial. And those include drug-drug interaction studies, a pilot study in adolescent patients who we believe are highly sensitive to uric acid levels and may benefit the most of any group, and then further developmental steps going forward. All of this fits under the co-development deal with Teijin Pharma in Japan. That agreement gives us exclusive licensing, exclusive rights to develop that drug globally, with the exception of Japan. So we have a market cap that changes on a minute-by-minute basis. It's around 15 million currently, 63 million shares outstanding, about 4 million warrants issued during the time of our last financing, and about 2.6 million options issued. That gives us a fully diluted shares number of about 69 million. We're currently listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol XRX, and on the OTC under the ticker symbol XORTXF, and on the Frankfurt Exchange under the ticker symbol ANU1. Currently, the number of shares held by insiders and angels and institutionally is about 26% by management and insiders, about 29% by a group of 5 angels. We know approximately 54 million of those shares are closely held, and that gives a rough estimate of a float in the market right now between 6 and 9 million shares. So we've worked diligently on the science as a company and been very focused on that. As we go forward, we're refocusing to keep advancing these programs, but also start to reach out globally to investors in Europe, in North America, because we believe now we're poised well for increasing value recognition and further value creation as we go forward. Right now we have a market cap of about 15 million. If one looks at NASDAQ-traded companies that have a similar stage of development and kidney disease programs, one can speculate that we have a lot of market cap growth to go. So, first-in-class opportunities in areas where there's no therapeutics available right now, or very few, a strong intellectual patent portfolio that's growing. We expect initial data from our phase 2A study in conjunction with the co-development deal with Teijin soon. That's an important interim data readout, and it sets the stage for not only the phase 2B in type 2 diabetic nephropathy, but also the phase 3 study in polycystic kidney disease. All of this is being shepherded by an experienced management team with a significant amount of drug expertise across the entire set of disciplines necessary to bring this forward. Thank you for your attention.
If you enjoyed this video, please let us know. You've been watching the Richmond Club Report. If you've just come across this channel, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'm sure you'll find a lot of interesting and lucrative investment and trading ideas around here. We'll see you again soon on the next video. Cheers, guys. Have an amazing and profitable day.